Begin. Question: is it okay to say tehillim at night? And if not, what's with the song? What's with the song that has tehillim in it? So, the source for not saying tehillim at night is based on the medrash that says that when Moshe Rabbeinu was on the mountain learning Torah with Hashem for 40 days and 40 nights, how did Moshe Rabbeinu know when it's day and when it's night? When Hashem taught him Torah Shebechsav, he knew that it's day. When Hashem taught him Torah Shebalpeh, he knew that it's night. And from that is the source, based on the Kabbalah, that we do not learn Torah Shebechsav at night, and that includes tehillim as well. And therefore, there's a minhag that whenever we do have to say tehillim at night, Shana Rabbah, we wait till after Chatzos. The only exception would be Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. There are those that say that on a regular Friday night, Leil Shabbos, also you can say tehillim, but throughout the week, definitely not to. Rabbi Ben Shimon likes to say that there are letters of the Rebbe says not to Friday night as well. I haven't seen the letters inside. He once told me he did a lot of research. I didn't find it inside. But B'cholifin, maybe I found one letter. Either way, this is the source. So we do not say tehillim at night based on Kabbalah, based on this medrash. There are those that say that you could be mekel, even from the what's called the Mekubalim. There were some that were more mekel, but many of them are more machmir. The Chidah, I saw the Chidah writes that there are some that are more mekel, but he says about himself, but I'm afraid to say tehillim at night. Ad kedei kach. So that's regarding tehillim bechlal. Now regarding saying it as a song, it's brought down in the Piskei brings that even saying half psukim or thirds of psukim is also a problem and should not be said. Chatzot shlishe psukim. And then so the male it's mashma not to say at all. And now there are those that say it's only also if it's in a way of learning. But if it's in a way of tefillah, it's mutter, meaning it includes all Torah Shebechsav, Chumash, and Navi as well. So there are those that say that specifically tehillim is permitted. But like we said, our minhag is based on the Kabbalah Serizal not to say it, but it's in a way of saying it for tehillim. I haven't found the source regarding songs. I found the source, I have psukim and third psukim are not. But I can't tell you for sure a clear one way or the other. I would understand people that would say that half a pasuk in a song it's usually half psukim at a time. Then I would say that to be machmir, and those I will say that it's not begeder tillim bechlal, just singing a song, and that to be more mekel. But if you're asking me and I have to paskin, I would say better not. Yes. By davening, that's for sure you're allowed. Krishma is not tillim, Krishma is chumash. But obviously, whatever's part of davening is permitted. Yeah. Oh, Shemas is still, whatever's part of davening, you're allowed to say, obviously. Yeah. You're allowed to what? So that's always my heter when I'm stuck. I just say, Pikuach Nefesh is Deicha Kol HaTeira Kula, and Mamela. So for Pikuach Nefesh, you could say Tillim, and that's also worse. But that's a kapar answer. It's not a chetchil. Okay, that's when it is. Cases of Pikuach Nefesh, and yeah. He sat through the night and he was crying. He was pondering deeply into his plight. He wasn't saying tehillim. He was just holding it in his hand. If you read Medayik in the song. What? For the war l'chayra, yeah, I would say. If you go by that, then when there's a real situation, you ought to say tehillim by night. Then l'chayra, the war for sure counts. It's terrible. The chatchila, you after you finish your chumash by day. If you didn't, then you could be the yav, do it by night. And tehillim, it's mashma to wait till chatzos halayla. Because Chumash, it's brought down that Chumash is more with Rashi, its explanations. I didn't look up the protim, but I know for sure that we're more mekel with Chumash of Chitas than tehillim. That's not connected to this. Question: if 1,000 years are compared to one day of the week, Mashiach comes by year 6,000. What happens by year 7,000? This is a Gemara that the Gemara says that the 7,000 is going to be Chad Chruv. The Gemara says there are Shis Alfei Shni Avi Yoma. The world will last for 6,000 years, and then the 7,000 is going to be Shabbos. We say Miz Meshir Liyem Shabbos Liyem Shekul Li Shabbos Menucha L'Chai Lomim. That 1,000 years is going to be a whole different Eifen. And the Taka says that as much as you talk about Yomei Mashiach and all that, all the Yomei Mashiach is only up to the year 6,000. Once the year 6,000, everything's be completely different in a whole different Eifen. So that's going to be a higher gilui than whatever we have now. After 7,000, it's unclear. The Gemara says some say Trei Chruv, but then it's L'mayla Ben Azma. There's those man, and it's completely, we can't fathom what it's going to be like. And I haven't seen really spoken about that, but that's, I remember hearing. Question, what's a Hamsa? Those that are not familiar, I'm sure everyone is familiar, but there's a common design that you might have seen that people have, like it looks like a hand, like 2 thumbs sticking out and 3 fingers. If you look at Levi Mizrahi's tefillin bag, he has a thing sticking out of it, right? On your zipper. So that's the shape of it. It's the 2 thumbs sticking out with 3 fingers. Usually has an eye inside in the middle. So the Muslims claim that it's Fatima's hand. Fatima was Muhammad's daughter or wife, I forget. Daughter, and officially it's her symbol, and that's a segula from her. She's protecting over your blood. But the Svarda Sharabonim, the Benishchai and the Chidog, they say that it's an old ancient the Jewish custom, and it's connected to 5 hands and an eye. I said ayin is gematria how much? Whoa, ayin is gematria 130. Ayin is supposed to be gemat 130. And Yud Kei Vav Kei times the 5 fingers. So Yud Kei Vav Kei is gematria 26. 26 times 5 is 130. So it's connected to Shem Havaya, 5 into 5 hands. So they basically say it's an ancient custom. Huh? It's protection from ayin hara. That's the word. Yeah. So that's where it comes from. Now, what? 5 fingers. The 5 fingers. I'm sorry. The 5 fingers they protect from the ayin hara. So even if it's this, the Ben Ish Chai and the Chidar Big Tzadikim, if they say something, it's for sure reliable, no question about it. Even though it's not our Ashkenazi custom, but if someone wants to have it, then it's for sure not a big deal to go by the minhagim of the great Tzadikim from Sfar. What is a Hamsa? This is what a Hamsa, and this is where it comes from. What? Oh, the word Hamsa means 5. I'm sorry, in Arabic. The word Hamsa means 5. Yeah, okay. Question, is passing gas in public Baal teshkatsu? Now, the Bacher is like mixing different concepts together. Passing gas is a very important concept, but what does Baal teshkatsu mean? The Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch writes, in Siman Gimel, in Madludah in Yonos, Sifyud Aleph, Hamashes Nekovov, someone that needs to go to the bathroom and holds himself in. The Alter Rebbe says, Ben G'doidim, Ben Ktanim, whether you have to go number 1 or number 2, Oiver Midivrei Seifrim Mishum Baal Teshkatsu Nafshei Seichem. There's an avera that you're keeping disgusting stuff, whatever in the bathroom, inside yourself, and that's the avera Baal Teshkatsu. However, Lo Yahamidu Divrei B'Makim Kavod Abriyos, now, based on that, if I need the bathroom, so then I have to make right now. So if I'm in a public area, well, Baal teshkatsu, I can't leave disgusting stuff inside myself. So Chacham said, no, you wait till you get to a private place and then you can do it, which means that you're allowed to hold in when you need the bathroom until you get to a normal place. Stam as if you need the bathroom and you have an opportunity, you have to go right away because you're not supposed to keep it inside you. But if you don't have a private place, you can keep it inside you. Now, he then continues, "V'kol sheyochel lahamid atzmei ad kedei shir hiluch parsa, ein ben mishum Baal teshkatsu, v'le mishum sakana, ben b'ktanim v'megdim v'rakol." He basically says that if you can hold it in for the time that it takes to walk a parsa, which parsa is 72 minutes, if you can hold it in for 72 minutes, it's not a problem. It's only if you feel like mamish have to go, I can maybe manage 5 more minutes. Don't wait the 5 extra minutes or maybe 10 minutes. Go as soon as you can. So this is all regarding the concept about the teshkatsu is to holding where you have to go. When someone has to pass gas, he knows he doesn't need the bathroom and he's holding the gas inside. To say that's considered about the teshkatsu because I'm holding it inside myself, I don't think so. I think it's dafke, the actual tzoya or meiraglaim that come out. I don't think it's the gas that comes out is begetted about the teshkatsu, and therefore I would think that mitzad the Baal teshkatsu, it's not an issue of holding it in. However, as I read, I skipped a line. Alter Rebbe says when it comes to ktanim, there are those that say the issue is sakana. If you need the bathroom and you don't go to the bathroom, it can mess up your system. So when it comes to if you have to pass gas and you don't, it also can sometimes be unhealthy. I read an article once that chashuva people, they have a certain condition that they, more often than most people, that comes from holding in your passing gas. Because since they're always in public places, everyone's always listening to them. So therefore, they have to hold it in the whole time, and that's why it causes some issues. I don't know if this is accurate. I don't know what kind of medical issues they actually have, if it's something major. But you can maybe say that there's an issue of holding it in mitzad that. But again, to say the question proper, the question is, do I have to let it out as soon as I can, or is it a problem? Now, again, I would assume that it's not a problem to hold it in. It's not considered an issue about the tashkatsu. You could hold it in unless you want to say it actually causes damage in a health way. Yeah. And it's unhealthy. And it's unhealthy because it's unhealthy. So if it's unhealthy, then you have to let it out. But the question is how long? If you're holding it in for a couple of minutes. Sometimes it goes back up, isn't it? Yeah. And then so he's saying that. So I hear what you're saying. It's mashma that it's not that it's a mitzad bal teshkatsu is not an issue. But you're saying mitzad health wise, and it will be an issue. No. Yeah. Holding in throw. Is that bal teshkatsu? I don't know. It's still inside you. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah.
When it says you should wait for you, if no one is next to you, like
you're in a private area and you can go to the bathroom.
You're in public, but
you're in an open area, no one's around, then yeah, go to a tree and do what people do. I don't know. All right, question. In Kitzur Shulchan Aruch it says you cannot hold during Shemona Esrei anything in your hand. The Bacher is asking, is holding your tetzuos in place, is that considered holding? Holding your tetzuos in your hand. So the source for not holding is in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch and Tzadik Vav. Alter Rebbe says when a person davens, he shouldn't hold in his hand tefillin or a sefer or a bowl or a sakin or mois, other things. And the Alter Rebbe continues, why? Because it might fall, and as a result, you're going to lose your kavanah. But other things that if they fall, they're not going to get ruined. You can hold them in minadin. So if you're not going to hold your tetzuos, if you're holding them and there's no chash of them falling, it's minadin. It's for sure permitted. But then he says mitzvah min hamuvchar shalalecha is klum. The mitzvah namufra is not to hold anything in your hand. To stand with your hands on your heart as in front of the king. So which means like this: the mitzvah, the holding part, there's no problem of holding the tetzuos because they're not falling anyway. But your hands should not be holding anything. Your hands are meant to be like this, and therefore it's basically better not to. But it's not a big deal if you did. 1 second. What else? Siddur, Alter Rebbe says next. A siddur you're allowed to hold because it's the cherish tefillah. We're not concerned that it's going to distract you. So for that we're not concerned. I mean, it's discussed. We're not concerned because you're using it for davening. It's less of a shash. I mean, for sure, it happens. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. But the Shulchan Aruch says we're not concerned. 1 second. Yeah. If a baby falls, you have to stop and help out the baby. You're not supposed to stop the baby. No, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to, for sure. If you're the only person in the house or the baby, you shouldn't be davening. Wait till you go fall asleep.
They don't cry for it.
I don't know what to say. Yeah. Okay.
and just don't die.
Yeah, but what if you have to
What if?
Okay.
What if the world was over?
Is there a problem with touching your dog on Shabbos if you're blind? If the dog is blind, then you need to help it. So if the dog is blind, it's brought down that you're allowed to, and somehow you're touching it to help it. So for tzar ba'al chayim, you're allowed to touch an animal. This came up when we spoke about another shir that animals are muktzah. So animals are muktzah, so therefore, b'chlal, you can't touch an animal. But for tzar ba'al chayim, if your dog is blind and whatever, you have to guide it and help it out, then it says you're allowed to. If the person himself is blind, also, there are many poskim of today that say it's mutter, and they say that the blind person should do his best to avoid touching it, because a blind person doesn't have to touch his dog. He has to hold on to the leash, and the dog guides him. So, but he has to try to the best to avoid touching it. But if he needs it for his blindness, for his guidance, then he is allowed. That's this is all about Shabbos. Levi Mizrahi said you cannot shake his hand on Shabbos.
Aren't you allowed to touch different shoes, right?
The Alter Rebbe says no. There are poskim that say yeah. There are poskim that say that there's a heter for it, but that's the poskim know the Alter Rebbe, and they claim the Alter Rebbe would also allow it, but I don't know if Lubavitch or Rabbanim that allow it. A question the Bacher wrote number 770. The answer is yeah. Question: why don't we say Tikkun Chatzos? There's numbers of parts of davening that are not a choiv. It's not an obligation to say Tikkun Chatzos. It's if somebody feels bad for the Churban, he says Tikkun Chatzos. And since we don't consider ourselves on such a level that we feel bad about the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, not on the level that we're going to cry at midnight, wake up at midnight to do that, so therefore we don't say Tikkun Chatzos. And besides the Chassidim that had special instructions from the Rebbeim to say it, otherwise we didn't say it. There are communities that claim that everyone should be saying it, and even people that are on a lesser level should get up and say it, but our minhag is that unless you really feel it, you should not be saying it. I do not know of anyone currently Chabad that does. No. Non-Chabad people do it, yeah. Not everybody. So you shouldn't get. Question: how did Shimshon touch the dead lion to get the honey if he was a Nizir? And if he touched it with a stick, isn't the dead body avatuma? So this is a little bit of a mistake. The Bacher is asking that Shimshon was a Nizir. A Nizir cannot become tamei to a dead body, and the lion was a dead body. So this is a bit of a mistake, because a dead body, when we say a Nizir can't become tamei to a dead body, means to a dead human being, to a dead Jew specifically. That's the tumah. That's tumas mes. That's what he's forbidden. So even though a dead lion is tamei, but it's tumas nevela, it's a lesser level of tumah, and a Nizir, the pashtus, is not forbidden to touch that animal. Number one. Number two, Shimshon, Bechlal, even though it was a Nizir, Shimshon was a different type of Nizir, because Shimshon killed people for a living. That's what he's doing all the time. So Shimshon was the exception, that he was allowed to kill people, and he was allowed to become Tommy Lemes, Bechlal. So Memela, this Bechlal for Shimshon was not an issue. But I think even a regular Nizir, not Shimshon, that cannot become Tommy by a line would be different. Question: if you're so fat that if you walk home from Shul on Shabbos, you'll faint, can you drive home? No, you can't drive home. Just stay in Shul till after Shabbos. I wonder. Yeah, Fatal, yeah. You drove on Friday afternoon, you drove to Shul. A joke. A Bacher wrote a joke. You guys think that my jokes are not funny? Listen to this one. What's a language that no one knows how to speak? Sign language. Question. Okay, this question came in the big. This question came in the beginning of the year. I mentioned this question many times in Shiurim, and I'm going to now attempt to give a little bit of an answer. The question is, how do I cherish Yiddishkeit? Very, very important question. What? How do I cherish Yiddishkeit? Now, the Bacher is asking, there's two words that have to be meduyuk over here. He's asking cherish and Yiddishkeit. Not Hashem, not Rebbe, not Torah mitzvahs. The question is Yiddishkeit. And it's not enjoy, it's not love, it's cherish. I don't know how much the Bacher was medaik when he wrote the question, but cherish means not stam liking it, but enjoying it. It's a I would say a mixture of loving and enjoying it. Like it's special to me, it's precious to me. So how do you get to such a oifen that you should cherish Yiddishkeit? The question is, what does Yiddishkeit mean? Yiddishkeit is a very vague term. Yiddishkeit is a very vague term. Vague means like unclear. What does that mean, Yiddishkeit? You mean to learn to enjoy learning Torah, enjoy doing mitzvahs, enjoy being a frum yid. It's a hard. So again, it's a vague question. That's why it took me so long to think about what I would answer what I would say to answer the question. So. But pashtus, I would assume the Bacher means Yiddishkeit. He means Bechlal, doing what Hashem wants. And that's what Yiddishkeit would mean. And the question is how to cherish it would mean how to feel a positive feeling towards it. So for that I will say the story that I said many times of the Chafetz Chaim. The Chafetz Chaim, the story was that people asked the Chafetz Chaim that it says in Sefer HaChinוך, it's brought out in other Sfarim.
Those kids.
It says, "Achar ha'pa'ulos nimshachim ha'lebבות." A person that behaves in a certain way, he's going to start feeling towards that way. Which means if you act kind for a long time, you'll actually become a kind person. That's what it means. So they asked the Chafetz Chaim. How can we say Achar ha'pa'ulos nimshachim ha'lebבות when we know people? Well, we know people that are religious for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then they become not religious. So, l'chayra, these people were religious, they were keeping Torah mitzvahs for so many years, so it should have became that they enjoy it, and they like it, and they should want to do it for longer. And yet, as we all know, there are people that become not religious, even though they were religious for many years. So, l'chayra, achar ha'pa'ulos nimshachim ha'lebבות. So the Chafetz Chaim answered with, we said that in Russia, they were the Russian Kozakin, the Russian soldiers, that the Russian soldiers, they were hired, they were recruited to the army at a very young age, and they would work very, very hard, and they would train, and they were very disciplined, and they were in the army for many years, 20, 30 years in the army, they would work very, very hard, get up early and work the whole day. And then when they retired from the army, so it was Yedua that once they retired, all the veteran soldiers, the retired veterans, they would get a pension from the government, a salary from the government. They didn't have to work for the rest of their lives. And what would they do? They would spend the rest of their lives in the bar. They would go to the bar and they would just party and party and party for the next 20, 30 years till they die. So the Chafetz Chaim said, l'chayr, you can ask the same question. Achar ha'pa'ulos nimshachim ha'lebבות, these people have been so disciplined, they've been working so hard and so proper, so how come when they retire from the army, how come they don't continue in business and other areas? Which takazoi lahavdil by the Jewish nation till today, in the IDF, many soldiers, many people that serve in the army for a number of years, when they retire from the army, they go into other areas, whether it's in politics or in business, and they're very successful because the discipline that they learned in the army and all this strategy, whatever, all the things that they learned, and their behavior themselves helps them to become very successful people in many areas. So how come over here? For sure you can. In the Israeli army, there are people that are there for 20, 30 years. For sure. Keva. It's called Keva. And all the senior officers, they didn't just sign up for 2-3 years in the Psabachrim. They're working hard in whichever kind of way they're working, whatever work can be. I don't know if the Russians are actually every day doing all the exercise every day. And in theory, yeah, in theory. So the Chafetz Chaim said the chayr can have the same question. That over there, you see these Russian soldiers when they're done, nothing changes. The paulos don't change anything. So the Chafetz Chaim said the answer is because it's true they've been running for the past 30 years, but they've been running and running to the bar. Meaning that all these years that they were running, they weren't trying to become disciplined people. Their whole kavanah was, they knew that afterwards, like Ayukul said a moment ago, that's a vibe, that's a good life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they looked at it, that's what my life's about. It's worth it to spend 20, 30 years in the army and then work very hard, but afterwards I could party for the rest of my life. So they were never looking to actually absorb, to take anything within them. Lahavdil, many people that go to the Israeli army, they want to become disciplined and looking for it. But B'nogea in Yoneinu, the Chafetz Chaim answered, this is the answer to the question. He said that these people have been religious for 20 years, but they didn't try making it themselves. Many people that become not religious, there might be exceptions, but I would say the vast majority of people that grow up religious and stop being religious, they never really tried making religion make sense to them. They never tried doing it in a way, I want to connect to it, for whatever reason. They're doing it because they have to, they grew up that way, their parents, their teachers, they never really tried. But if somebody does Yiddishkeit in a way that he wants it to resonate with him, so in that case, that often, Pa'ulos will be mamshech de levavos. And this is the one answer to the question, how do you cherish Yiddishkeit? If you want to cherish Yiddishkeit, and you do Yiddishkeit, you will start cherishing it. If you I want to connect to these things, I want these things to make sense to me, and I do it to the best of my ability, so over time, it'll affect you, and you'll feel good about it. Yes? Yeah?
How about, first of all, the Israeli armies for 2 years? Second of all, they don't get no pension.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You can sign for it however long you want.
Huh? No, the question is, I want to cherish it. How do I cherish it? I want to cherish it. That's the question to get to it. If you want to. That's a little bit what I think. Huh? I answered your first question, but you didn't hear one before. I said it already before. So, then there's another answer, another approach to the answer, which also you have to really work on it to get to it, is by learning chassidus. When a person learns chassidus, chassidus has the ability to reveal your neshama. And mitzad your neshama, you do cherish Yiddishkeit and Hashem and everything that's connected. So b'meila, it's a matter of revealing your neshama. And the way to reveal your neshama is by learning chassidus. How does chassidus reveal your neshama? So what's explained is because the chassidus talks to your neshama and it brings out your neshama. Just like if someone has a talent, let's say a talent in building, and I teach him about building, so that will reveal the talent that he already has. So lahavdil, you have a neshama, you have a connection to Eibishter. So chassidus is the language that talks to your neshama, and that will bring it out and make you feel more cherished. But this is also not something which you sit down one day with a mimer and then the next day you'll cherish Yiddishkeit. Obviously, it's a big process that takes lots of time. One more question.
One more question. Oh my gosh. That means you're not dismissed yet.
Okay, well, no.